Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by Energy Sage. Visit the link in the description to find local, verified solar experts, community projects, and heat pump specialists in your area. And by you. Support the channel today and help us remain 100% independent. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me, and happy Pride Month. We start today's show with new data from the International Energy Agency, which just released its latest assessment of the EV battery market. In it, we learned that during 2024, EV battery demand for just 1 week exceeded the total demand for all of 2014. Annual EV battery consumption also rose above 1 terawatt hour for the first time. While big rigs are using more batteries, electric cars remain the main driver, with 3 terawatt hours of annual demand expected by decade's end. The report also highlights a key difference between US and EU markets. Both account for around 13% of global EV battery demand, but Europe sells far more electric cars. Why? US automakers remain focused on massive vehicles. American EVs tend to have about 25% more battery capacity than those in Europe, and much of that extra capacity doesn't go to range, it just hauls more weight. Beta Technologies was celebrating this week after completing the first official demonstration flight of its Harrier eVTOL aircraft, flying passengers into New York's JFK International Airport, just weeks after it completed a coast-to-coast US flight between Los Angeles and New York. Based in Vermont, Beta Technologies is unlike many electric aircraft companies out there. Instead of focusing only on eVTOL or eCTOL, it's working on both types of craft at the same time. Its Harrier eVTOL has already completed tens of thousands of test miles needed for FAA evaluation. That includes a 6-airport demonstration route through Utah. Beta remains hopeful it will receive commercial approval from the FAA later this year. While the test flight carried airline executives rather than regular passengers, it's also a major step towards cutting short-haul aircraft emissions. Earlier this year, BYD created quite a storm by revealing its newest charging technology for passenger electric cars, a system allowing charge rates in excess of 1 megawatt. Compatible with BYD's latest Han L and Tang L electric cars, both using the newest generation 1000-volt blade batteries, the so-called Megawatt flash chargers peak at over 1,360 kilowatts. The first stations are already commissioned in China, and BYD has announced a partnership with Shenzhou Charging to build 10,000 new megawatt sites, along with a second partnership with Longshan to deploy 5,000 more. Both partners carry serious clout. Shenzhou Charging handles infrastructure for ride-hailing from Didi, while Longshan controls more than 90% of China's existing charging network. With deployment racing ahead in China, BYD's CEO also confirmed this week that the firm has its sights set on bringing those same cars, charging tech, and super-fast charging networks to Europe too. As the US federal government, led by the president and Republicans on Capitol Hill, look to eliminate anything resembling pro-environmental policy, new data shows Americans are souring on electric cars. According to the American Automobile Association, interest in EVs is at its lowest point since 2019. More buyers are now leaning towards hybrid and plug-in hybrid models instead of fully electric ones, with just 16% of respondents in its most recent study saying they were likely or very likely to buy an EV, down 9% from 2022. Meanwhile, those unlikely or very unlikely to go electric rose from 51% to 63%. Media FUD, post-pandemic price hikes, and a lack of affordable models are all to blame, But so too is the federal government's anti-EV stance, threatened tax credits, elimination, import tariffs, and the shadow of Elon Musk, whose behaviour continues to damage Tesla and the EV space. Throw in automakers still eager to sell anything with an engine, and the US is quickly becoming that uncle that you don't want to invite to your family party. To continue the bad news, don't worry, there are some good news stories coming. Sales data from the US in May shows that sales of electric pickup trucks have fallen dramatically. While the headlines lambast electric pickup trucks as not being able to do real truck work, we and many other outlets have worked hard to dispel that myth. Data from various surveys shows electric pickup owners are more likely to do truck things than owners of internal combustion engine pickups. But I would also be being very disingenuous if I suggested there wasn't a problem with current electric pickup trucks, because there is. Size and price. In a world where everything is costing more, especially in the US, and with the US federal government enacting anti-EV policies that actively penalise EV owners, expensive, full-sized, over-spec'd electric pickup trucks are a hard sell. But what the mainstream press hasn't reported is that almost everyone I've spoken to about electric pickups, including owners of them, want a smaller, more compact, more appropriately spec'd vehicle. Think Ford Ranger EV or Chevy S10 EV-sized vehicles that, should the Slate EV or Tello MT1 make it to production, we might actually get. The Kia EV4, which will launch in some markets as a mid-size sedan and in others as a mid-size hatch, is definitely coming to the US. Kia reaffirmed that this week. But it won't be made there. Speaking to Electrive, Kia's US product planner confirmed that the EV4 hatchback will be built in Europe, specifically Slovakia, while the sedan variant, the only one coming to the US, will be built exclusively in South Korea. That likely means anyone in the US hoping to buy one will face a hefty price hike compared to customers elsewhere. Unlike some of Kia's other EVs, which use the 800-volt EGMP platform, the EV4 runs on a 400-volt system to keep costs down. But while Kia hasn't published sticker prices, it's unclear if it plans to absorb those import tariffs or pass them on to customers. Either way, the subtext is clear. Kia doesn't expect, or perhaps even want, the EV4 to sell well in a market obsessed with oversized SUVs. I haven't heard from Kia North America yet about Canadian availability for the hatchback, but given Canada got the second generation Soul EV while the US didn't, fingers crossed. Mercedes-Benz has officially begun production of its brand new CLA in Germany, with everything from the car's high-voltage battery packs to body parts sourced as locally as possible. The car, slated to be the most efficient production vehicle Mercedes-Benz has ever made, will be offered in both battery electric and hybrid versions. Mercedes-Benz says it's worked hard to localise its supply chain for the European market, sourcing motors, battery packs and more for local partners. While the CLA will be built in China with Beijing Benz Automotive Company Limited, all non-Chinese market models will be produced at the Rastatt factory in Germany. That facility has undergone significant improvements as part of pre-production preparation. Soon it will get an organic solid-flow battery capable of storing 11 megawatt-hours of energy, and this, along with upgraded lighting and plant equipment, will dramatically reduce the carbon footprint of CLA manufacturing. Mercedes-Benz has also reduced factory energy consumption by more than 15 gigawatt-hours annually. And of course, after some backlash, I should remind you, Benz has confirmed the CLA with EQ technology will support both 400 and 800-volt charging in the US after initially saying it wouldn't. It's been more than 15 years since the first Nissan Leaf hatchbacks rolled off the production line, And in that time, we've seen various upgrades and 2 official generations reach production. Now, as the official launch of the 3rd generation Nissan Leaf approaches, the company has released the first of 3 teaser videos featuring the design team discussing the new car. While the official launch is still some time away, the shared info reveals some important changes to the vehicle's design. First, it's no longer a hatchback. The new Leaf looks more like a sibling to the Harrier, which is already in production. And that makes sense since both share the same underlying technology and platform. This includes giving the Leaf its first ever liquid-cooled battery pack. We're told the model achieves a drag coefficient of 0.26 in the US and Japanese markets, but I should note the European version boasts even less drag thanks to rear-view cameras replacing traditional side physical mirrors. Also new for the Leaf nameplate is a panoramic glass roof. We'll find out more in the coming weeks, so stay tuned. We're big fans of both smart charging and vehicle-to-grid technology here at the channel, and long have believed that these features are key to making EVs truly appealing to buyers. New data recently concluded from a smart charging pilot in California backs that up. ChargeWise California was a small program rewarding EV owners who allowed 2 local utilities, MCE and Silicon Valley Clean Energy, to have some control over when their EVs charged. They also used dynamic pricing to encourage charging behaviour when energy was cheapest and cleanest, along with a separate meter for conventional electricity usage outside of EV charging. On average, the pilot saved participants $200 per year when compared to the same use over traditional time-of-use plans. Notably, EV Energy, the company managing the program, reported that over 1/2 of the 1,000 participants came from disadvantaged communities, groups that are often overlooked in EV adoption efforts. And to finish this segment, a new report from the International Energy Agency highlighting where the world's energy money is going. According to its latest World Energy Investment Report, global energy spending is set to hit a record $3.3 trillion this year, with $2.2 trillion going towards renewables, nuclear, battery storage, low-emission fuels, and electrified transportation. At the same time, fossil fuel investment is slipping, with oil expected to drop by 6% year over year. China led global energy spending last year, and while it approved nearly 100 gigawatts of coal-fired capacity, 1/3 of its energy investment still went to clean energy solutions. Globally, solar leads the way with $450 billion in spending expected this year. But the IEA also warns that few countries are investing enough in grid upgrades to make the grid healthy. Also, just worthy of note, Africa received 2% of last year's global clean energy investment, and notes the report, without global support and urgent infrastructure improvements, the world's climate goals may be out of reach for basically everyone. That might be a sour note to end the segment, but if you'd like to help change that and you are in the US, and you are in a good financial position to do so, you might want to consider getting solar panels and a heat pump installed, or sign up for a local community solar program before the federal government ends all clean energy incentives. And to get started with that, you should probably speak to long-time show sponsor, Energy Sage. Energy Sage connects you with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help guide you through the process of installing solar panels or getting a heat pump. And if you're not a homeowner, no worries. Energy Sage can still help you green your electricity by helping you join a community solar program. We used Energy Sage for ourselves when looking for installers to put solar panels on the roof of our home, and their verified pros were knowledgeable and even introduced us to a great credit union that helped us finance the project with low monthly payments. So follow the links below to sign up for Energy Sage's free, no obligation services and get started today. If you do choose an Energy Sage installer for your project, we'll receive a small referral fee as well, so you'll be helping us too. Help the grid get greener, save money, and support the channel? It's a win-win-win. And now it's time for our news shorts. Orange EV has issued a recall for several of its short-haul and drayage trucks after discovering the pin-tile hook can partly block the centre of the backup lights. A new taillight assembly will be installed free of charge on all affected vehicles. Ford has recalled just under 30,000 2024 and 2025 model year F150 Lightnings due to improperly assembled upper control arm ball joint nuts at the factory. If left unchecked, the issue could lead to suspension or steering failure, which could lead to an accident. A second recall from Ford affects more than 100,000 vehicles, including the Mustang Mach E, due to a glitch in the APIM module that can freeze or disable the rear-view camera feed. Owners will receive a dealer-installed or over-the-air update for their vehicle to correct the issue. And Ford has issued a third recall, though this one is very small, for just 6 2022 and 2023 F150 Lightnings that were incorrectly repaired under a previous recall that addressed electronic stability control issues. Ford says it will contact the owners of those 6 vehicles directly to arrange a proper fix. In addition to a very public spat with the US president on X, just as we are filming this, Elon Musk is now fighting with the new Jersey Turnpike Authority. The agency had ordered 64 Tesla Superchargers removed from Turnpike rest stops, opting instead for a multi-standard charging provider. Musk has now claimed corruption, yet provided no evidence to back that accusation up. The UK government has announced a major overhaul of its strict planning rules for EV charging stations. Going forward, most public and private EV chargers, including wall sockets for plug-in EVSEs, will no longer require planning permission. It will make owning and charging EVs far easier. As I've already shared in today's show, BYD plans to bring megawatt charging to Europe, but it's also worth noting that Ionity and Alpitronic are aiming to do the exact same thing. Alpitronic's HYC1000 charger already supports these power levels, and Ionity is backed by most of the European auto industry. Daimler Truck has delivered the first of 30 Mercedes-Benz eActros 600 electric big rigs to Lidl Italy. The refrigerated tractor-trailer units will be used to help the store chain deliver fresh food to Lidl branches in Trentino, South Tyrol and Lake Garda regions of Italy during summer months. Hyundai has officially begun deliveries in the US of its 3-row IONIQ 9 SUV. Built on the same eGMP platform as the Kia EV9, the two sibling models share a lot of similar features. I know it's hard to grok because we are usually the last to drive a new car, but we've got one on press loan next week. Customers in Canada are dumping Tesla at record rates, and as a result, Tesla is no longer the most popular electric car brand in the country. That title now goes to General Motors, although it is important to note that that includes all GM brands, so Cadillac, Chevrolet and GMC. The Equinox EV and Silverado sold particularly well in Canada last month. Lucid has signed a multi-year supply agreement with Graphite One to secure US-sourced battery materials for its battery packs. Graphite One will mine graphite at its facility in Nome, Alaska, then produce active anode material at its Ohio plant before then shipping it to Lucid for battery production. Oil company Shell is about to build a new test centre for charging infrastructure in Hamburg, Germany. The facility will focus primarily on testing and refining megawatt charging stations for use with trucks, buses and other heavy machinery, and it will be based on the 1 megawatt-capable MCS charging standard that's been adopted by the industry. DS Automobiles, part of Stellantis, has confirmed that its DS number 4 is now available to order in launch markets across Europe. The model comes in hybrid, plug-in hybrid and all-electric versions, with the EV variant starting at €46,990. Cadillac has officially launched the Vistiq EV in Europe, debuting the model at its Swedish Cadillac Experience Centre. Although it won't be immediately available in all markets, the launch clearly aims to compete with established Chinese and German luxury EV brands. The German government is working to pass new legislation designed to make it more tax advantageous for businesses in Germany to use EVs as company cars. Starting in July, companies will be able to claim a 75% depreciation allowance in the first year of use, if it's passed, that is, helping companies reduce overall tax bills. Polestar has officially launched sales of the Polestar 4 in North America, with the entry-level model starting at $56,400. The vehicle will be manufactured in South Korea this summer, with deliveries to North American customers expected early this autumn. The People's Republic of China has shifted its rare earth export policy. After banning all exports earlier this year, it's now allowing select shipments to overseas clients with special export licenses. This includes some German car companies. However, Indian automakers report they have yet to receive either licenses or shipments. EV registration data for Norway in May shows electric vehicles continue to surge in popularity. 13,384 EVs were registered during the month, making up 94% of all new car sales. Unlike much of Europe, where Tesla is struggling, Tesla claimed 1/5 of Norway's EV market during the month. The chairman of Li Automoles in Maine has written to Toyota ahead of its June 10th shareholder meeting, urging the company to do better on EVs. Adam Lee criticises Toyota's backward environmental stance and urges the automaker to stop supporting climate deniers in the Senate. He also calls for more EVs to be brought to market so dealers like him can sell them. Bollinger Motors, currently under court-ordered receivership due to unpaid loans to its founder, may be saved. A new subsidiary, nearly wholly owned by Mullen Automotive, is offering capital to stabilise the company. Mullen Automotive acquired a controlling interest in Bollinger back in 2022. Also seemingly back from the dead is Sondors, the electric motorcycle company that went bankrupt 2 years ago. A founder and former CTO, Storm Sondors, has regained control, buying the company out of receivership. He is now pre-selling the Meta AT, essentially the Metacycle, under a new name. So watch this space. The Chinese government is growing concerned about the recent electric vehicle price war that began in the country late last month. This week, the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology called automakers to a special meeting at which it warned them that heavy discounting could lead to accusations and prosecutions for unfair competition practices. Hyundai and its sibling company Kia have officially sold off stake in Indian mobility company Ola Electric. It specialises in electric two-wheelers and has attracted investment for both firms in the past after unveiling plans to build electric cars. Now, Hyundai has fully divested, with Kia retaining just 0.5% ownership. My home state of Oregon has reopened its highly popular rebate program for both new and used EVs. The program, which ran out of funding over the last 2 years due to strong demand, is expected to run out of funds this year. It is means tested and includes an upper purchase price limit. BASF has officially opened a new production facility in Schwarzheide in Germany, where it will produce black mass from recycled lithium-ion batteries and scrap from battery production lines. The plant will recycle up to 15,000 metric tons of material annually, equivalent to around 40,000 EV battery packs. Investigations continue into a cargo ship fire off Alaska's coast on Thursday. The Morning Midas, carrying around 3,000 vehicles, including roughly 800 electric and hybrid models combined, caught fire, forcing crew evacuation. Salvage crews are en route, with more details expected as the situation develops. Several Charger Daytona EV owners report unintended acceleration with their cars, where their cars slowly speed up without driver input. To stop it, drivers must press the brake harder than usual, but then the car accelerates again once the brake is released. Stellantis has not commented on the issue. Preconditioning a battery pack prior to fast charging can dramatically improve your fast charging speed, and now Rivian is rolling out an OTA update for all Rivians to add manual preconditioning to its vehicles. This means you can manually activate preconditioning without setting a charger as a destination. Lucid is offering up to $31,000 in discounts on select 2025 Lucid Air models. The discounts apply only to leasing rather than purchases. This brings the $111,000 Lucid Air Grand Touring lease to $850 a month for qualified folk. Hubject, Heliox, Accelera by Cummins and Bluebird have launched a joint project to deploy the world's first commercial vehicle-to-grid system using the official ISO 15118-20 standard. This standard enables encrypted communications and plug-and-charge functionality. NIO published its first quarter results this week, recording an 18.6% year-over-year increase in deliveries. However, it also widened its losses to $930 million. Despite this, it says it plans on expanding its sales into 7 new European markets alongside its existing ones by early next year. Bristol, UK, has just officially opened its first electrified bus depot. Located in Hengrove, 2/3 of the fleet will be electric, covering routes to the north side of town, including to Bradley Stoke and Cribbs Causeway. Fun fact, 18 years ago, I got Cribbs Causeway to open its first EV charging stations. Indian automaker Tata Motors has launched what it calls the nation's most powerful homegrown SUV. The Harrier EV is a mid-size model designed and built in India, and it's set to beat competitors like the Volkswagen ID.4 to the Indian marketplace. It starts from just under 21.5 lakh rupees. Maxtro, a luxury EV brand jointly owned by Huawei and JAC, has officially launched the S800 electric sedan in China. This massive vehicle rivals the size of cars like Rolls-Royces or Maybachs. Originally planned to cost between 1 and 1.5 million yuan, it will now be priced at just over 700,000 yuan. Voltpost has officially deployed its first lamp-post electric vehicle charging station in Oak Park, Illinois. This joint project with Oak Park and ComEd brings EV charging to communities lacking off-street parking. It aims to make charging more accessible in urban neighbourhoods. UK haulage firm Wincanton, which hauls everything from milk to big box store supplies, has taken delivery of the first of 24 new electric big rigs for its fleet. This is part of a partnership with DAF Trucks, Volvo Trucks and Renault Trucks to help the company achieve net zero emissions across its fleet by 2040. While Mercedes-Benz's G580 with EQ technology boasts impressive features, including that now famous tank steer mode, reports from Germany show that customers are largely uninterested. Global sales of the model remained abysmal, with buyers opting instead for the gasoline variant. Kia has officially launched sales of the EV5 in Singapore, making its first model in the country. The EV5 is already on sale in Australia, where it outsells every BYD model. Kia hopes to replicate that success in Singapore, with early sales showing promise. We published our review of the Acura ZDX Type S this week, and neither myself nor Kate were particularly impressed, finding it adequate but not quite living up to its badge. But still, it seems many folks disagree, as it sold just under 1,900 units last month, helped by discounts of up to $20,000 on each car. Wood Mackenzie warns that President Trump's tariffs and anti-green energy stance could raise clean energy project and storage costs by up to 50% in very short order. While some shy away from politics and say we should, this crisis is 100% caused by the president and frankly risks global actions to halt anthropogenic climate change. The municipality of Utrecht, in partnership with Renault, My Wheels and WeDrive Solar, have launched Europe's first large-scale vehicle-to-grid car-sharing programme. While V2G and car sharing are both familiar concepts, this is the first time they have been combined, letting car-share vehicles help stabilise the grid when they're not in use for the service. And finally, for the shorts, Toyota has joined many other automakers currently offering heavy discounts on EVs in the US. To clear out the outgoing 2024 bZ4X before rebranding it as the Toyota BZZ, the company is offering up to $19,000 in lease and cash on hood deals. And those are your news shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are next, but first a word from our channel's most important sponsors, you. Transport Evolved is celebrating its 15th year this year, and we've worked hard to stay fiercely independent, thanks entirely to the generous support of viewers just like you. We've always kept our content free to access, and we hope to keep it that way. But to do so, we need your support now more than ever. Recent changes at YouTube, including shifting algorithms that penalise creators who don't have millions subscribers, have made things really tough, especially small independent channels. YouTube is also unsubscribing people without their consent and failing to tackle spam bots that flood videos with hundreds of fake cryptocurrency comments in just a few minutes. This is driving audiences away and has slashed our monthly ad income to roughly 1/8 of what it was just a few years ago. Worse still, YouTube's deeply troubling policy change that no longer classifies anti-LGBTQ harassment as hate speech has left us and other queer creators we work with vulnerable to escalating abuse, and this impacts our safety, our mental health, our income, and our ability to keep creating. That's why Patreon has become our primary source of funding, and without Patreon and without increased support, our ability to continue may be at risk. So if you can, please consider supporting us at Patreon. But whether you support us financially, share our content, or simply watch to the end of each video, with the ridiculous amount of Google-inserted ads, we have no control over that, by the way, it all helps, and we are deeply grateful for your support. Now, on to those final two stories. Archer Aviation has officially released video of its first piloted flight of its Midnight E VTOL aircraft, marking a significant milestone towards its certification and commercialization efforts in the US. The company plans to complete the necessary certification in the coming months, and testing so far has focused on piloted conventional takeoff and landing capabilities. The Midnight uses proprietary tilting rotors that can operate in both forward flight and vertical lift modes, and this unique design allows the aircraft to land at traditional airports as well as at specialised vertiports. Archer Aviation's chief test pilot Jeff Greenwood, a former Bell Textron test pilot and retired US Marine Corps pilot, stated the flight matched his expectations perfectly. He noted that the real-world flight dynamics were consistent with those experienced in simulation, and Archer plans to work with both civilian and defence customers as it moves towards final production. Eventually, the Midnight will be capable of both conventional and vertical takeoff and landing. This successful piloted flight represents a major step forward for the company and brings the aircraft even closer to commercial use. And finally, it's June, which means, in addition to it being Pride Month, it's the month of the iconic Pikes Peak International Hill Climb, or to give it its full name to keep its sponsors happy, the Broadmoor Pikes Peak International Hill Climb presented by Gran Turismo 2025. Anyway, it's just around the corner, and EVs have been part of that hill climb event for a really long time, and I'm sure some of you remember the iconic runs of folks like Monster Tajima in his purpose-built race car. But this year at the event, Ford Performance will debut the latest of 3 high-performance EVs it sent up the track's 12.42-mile course, the Super Mustang Mach E. In the spirit of the F150 Lightning supertruck EV that it sent up the mountain last year, earning it the title of King of the Mountain for a day, Ford's team of performance gurus have taken a Mustang Mach E and dramatically redesigned it. It looks like a cross between a production Mach E and a gasoline Mustang, but it's all electric and, according to Ford, has 6,125 pounds of downforce. And in keeping with its EV tradition, Ford is sending the car up the 156 turns of the course with Romain Dumas behind the wheel. Ford says we'll find out more about specs and details about the vehicle closer to the event on June 22nd, so watch this space. And on that note, we are done for today. As always, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. The EVA has been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967, and they believe, just like we do at the channel, that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric transportation today. They can help you connect with local EV educators, help you find local meetups, and even help you to make the transition to electric yourself. And if you become a member, you'll gain access to a clean energy and EV loan program created in partnership with the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. So find out more at myeva.org. Thanks also go to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to connect with trusted, verified solar experts who can help you put panels on your roof, help you join a community solar program, or even help you get a heat pump installed. Taking control of your energy future has never been easier, and now is the right time to do it if you're able. And, of course, if you made your transportation or energy cleaner this week, whether that's switching to an EV, installing solar, or just choosing to take public transit, or walking, or cycling, great job. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do that from just $1.50 a month on Patreon. And if you are in the Portland area and you need a video production team, you've seen our stuff, you know what we're capable of, so reach out, EV or not, and we'll talk about your project. We've also got some great swag in the store. Our new Pride design is coming soon, and you can send one-time donations through Ko-fi, Bitcoin, or even old-fashioned checks. Plus, we now also have an Amazon affiliate link you can use to support the channel. You can find more content from us on our main channel, which is this one, as well as over on Transport Evolved Take 2. We publish every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on this channel, and you'll find us over on Transport Evolved every Sunday on Transport Evolved Take 2. To finish, remember this. You are valid, you are loved, and you belong. Even when politicians, corporations, and hateful voices try to say otherwise, it has been... I hate the fact I have to say this every week, but it's been another horrifying week of attacks and policy decisions whose only goals seem to be to divide and demean and cruelly hurt other people, whether that's because of your religion or where you come from or what you look like or who you love. But we have to keep going, and please know that even the strongest folk sometimes need a break. So it is okay to not be okay. It is okay to feel angry, scared, and overwhelmed. It is okay to need a break and to take one. It's okay to cry too. But know that your existence is also resistance. So simply by continuing to exist, you make it harder for hate to thrive and easier for love to grow. So be kind, be bold, speak up. Protest peacefully, make good trouble, and if you can, attend your local town halls, hold people's metaphorical feet to the fire, get involved. So until next time, stay safe, whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are. Be an ally, be kind, be the positive change you want to see in the world, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, don't let hate or willful ignorance win. As always, keep evolving.